السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. أما بعد. This evening I would like to discuss in this halaqah today, or Khatirah, about standing up for justice. And within these quick 10 to 15 minutes, I would like to discuss about the examples and the definition about what standing up for justice means. And in general, when we think of standing for justice, justice means that the right acts are being upheld and the wrongdoings are being addressed. And so, as Muslims, it's important to look back at the foundation of Islam, and as said earlier, by looking at the examples of the prophets in the Quran, Prophet Musa alayhi wasallam. And Surah Al-Qasas, verses 15 to 29, it describes the scene of Prophet Musa alayhi salam entering the city during a quiet time. And this quiet time can be referred to two ways. One way as in there was a midday, it was quiet, there was not a lot of activity between the people. And this was seen even in the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's time. After Salat al-Dhuhr, the people would return to their households and relax and rest. And number two is that this quiet time was due because of Bani Israel. They were restricted in their movements. They were restricted from going to one place to another because of Pharaoh. And we know Pharaoh as a tyrant, as the way he is cruel with Bani Israel, how the way he enslaved them, the way he treats them, and the way how they killed the babies, and the way how he didn't even pay them while they were slaves. And so, as Prophet Musa alayhi salam, he enters the city, he notices a man from Bani Israel arguing with an Egyptian man. And as Prophet Musa alayhi salam is walking, the man from Bani Israel calls out to him and asks him for help. And Musa alayhi salam, now he faces a moral dilemma. He has two decisions. Number one, he has the decision to ignore the man and go on about his way, as due because he has the privilege to be raised in the household of Pharaoh. And he has the wealth, he has the power, he has the status. Why should he put himself at a risk to stand for justice? Why should he go help the guy from Bani Israel in the argument between the Egyptian man? Or number two, he can go to and help the man by putting himself at a risk because he knows that he's doing the right thing. Because why? Because it's the right thing to do. Although maybe he may have thought for a fraction of a second that, oh, all this stuff that I have, the status, the power, the wealth, I could lose this all by just doing one simple thing, even though it's the right thing. And unfortunately, many people around the world, their main mindset is what? Their main mindset is, oh, I'll only do the right thing because what? It benefits me in a certain way. I only do the right thing, maybe it pleases my inner circle, or maybe it increases my wealth or status in a certain way. And so now I ask you a question, my brothers and sisters. If you were in the situation of Prophet Musa a.s., what would you do? Would you stand up and help the person from Bani Israel, or would you go about your way? Would you put yourself at a risk? It can be anywhere. It could be if you were at work. It could be at the masjid. It could be at school, at your job. Would you put yourself at a risk? Maybe you'd lose something. Maybe you might hurt yourself. Maybe you might lose your job. Maybe you might lose some status. But is it worth doing that for doing the right thing? And so Musa alayhi salam, he didn't think about all this stuff. He knew that doing the right thing is the right thing to do, because in the Quran it teaches us what? It teaches us that for us Muslims, we do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. So Prophet Musa alayhi salam, he goes and he intervenes, and Allah had willed that Musa alayhi salam had killed the man as he struck the man. And Musa alayhi salam, he was a physically strong man, and so as Musa alayhi salam struck the man had died. And so although Musa alayhi salam, he had the right intention, he had an intention to do the right thing, what had happened, he did not will for that to happen. Although he did something good, there would always be a consequence. And so the following day, as Musa alayhi salam, he enters the city, he sees the same man that he stood up the day before. And not even this man repaying Musa back, or acknowledging Musa back, or respecting him. He does, even in a worse manner, he backstabs Musa. He goes to Musa alayhi salam, he tells him that, oh Musa, are you going to kill me like you killed the man the day before? And this man starts to spread falsehood and rumors in the city. And not only does this put Musa at even a greater risk now, but even so that a man from the outer skirts of the city comes to Musa alayhi salam and tells him that the people are conspiring to do what? To kill you. And so now Musa AS, in fear of being killed, he has to leave the city. He has to leave his status, he has to leave his power, he has to leave his wealth, he has to leave all that behind. And as he leaves all that behind, Allah guided him to where? Guided him to the city of Medina. And here we see another example of justice. And as Musa AS, he sits down under the shade of the tree. He notices that the male shepherds are giving their animals water. And he notices that two ladies are restraining their animals from drinking water from the well. And so now Musa AS, he sees this injustice happening, that the ladies are not giving their animals water. And so if we were in that situation, we may think, oh, I stood up for justice before. I stood up and I helped that man from Bani Israel. But look what happened to me now. I'm left with nothing. I left everything behind. Why should I put myself again in a situation like this, putting myself at risk? But Musa alayhi salam, he didn't think like this. Musa alayhi salam, he decided to go to the ladies and ask them, what is the matter? Why are you not giving your animals water from the well? And the ladies tell Musa alayhi salam, tell him that, oh, the male shepherds, they're giving their animals water from the well, and our father is an elderly man. And so during this time, the more ideal, the main thing was that the men would go first and then the ladies. And we see this in the world even now. Some countries, they don't give the women their rights of equality, and maybe they don't give them the rights that they deserve. But during that time, the ladies, they may have been the first people there, maybe the first people that were out with their animals first. But they had to wait because the men were going first. So Musa alayhi salam, seeing this injustice occur, what does he decide to do? As I said earlier, Musa alayhi salam, he was a physically strong man. And so what he decides to see this injustice and decides to put himself in a situation where he's going to help these two ladies. He decides to take those animals and give them water from the well. And so now overall, we learn the main idea is that when we see an injustice occur, it can be anywhere. It can be in the masjid, at our work, at school, at the park. What are we going to do? As Muslims, what are we going to do when we see something like this occur? Will we just ignore? Are we going to remain silent? Are we going to go on about our way and see something occur like this and just be quiet? Or are we going to do the right thing? Are we willing to put ourselves at a risk? Is that risk? Are we going to put that everything that we have aside and do the right thing because what? It is the right thing to do. And now I'd like to end with this question, and I ask you this. When was the last time you stood up for justice? Wassalamu alaikum wa jazakallahu khair.